Today I'm making vegan crab cakes because I'm having company over and I want something spectacular. And these are delicious and people love them and they're so easy. And I'm gonna make them with 2 different sauces because one's super easy. So if you don't have any time, that's just a simple tartar sauce. And the other one is a remoulade sauce, which is a little bit more ingredients and very delicious though and super easy. Everything in the blender and blend. So let's start by making our sauces and then we'll move on to the crab cakes. All right, here we go. We're gonna put our mayo in the blender and you can use the mayo that you personally make or one that you buy. I'm going to be putting a video up very soon with some mayo options. Super easy to make. And then we have some onion, minced onion. And then we have some parsley and sweet pickle relish. I think that's the secret ingredient. Okay, and then some ketchup and some mustard. We're going to do a little squeeze of lemon. That looks good. I'm gonna do a little splash of vinegar. For my plain tartar, I use apple cider, but I'm doing something because I have this one. It's champagne vinegar. So I'm gonna do just a little splash of that. Maybe that's like a teaspoon. And I'm just gonna do a little splash because I have it. If you don't have these, just do a little splash of apple cider. And I'm gonna do a little splash of Worcestershire sauce because it just adds really a nice flavor if you happen to have it. Okay, here we go. And I don't like to do it too smooth because I want to taste the pickled relish in there. And if you do it too smooth, then you don't even know you have it in there. So let's take a look. See how it has really nice texture. You still see that. But the question is now we really got to taste it because I need to see, do we need some salt and pepper? So always better to go like this. Wow. Honestly, that's amazing. It's almost perfect the way it is. Actually, I don't want to blend it anymore because I like that chunky. So I'm gonna stop right there. I think that is perfect. And now let's pour this into our bowl because this is what we're gonna serve with the crab cakes. This is such a fun recipe. And you know, typically these are pan fried and very much oil. Sometimes with the air fryer you need to spritz it with a little spray just to get something on it. So because you want to get these brown, that's the thing. You can get them crispy in the air fryer, but you need to get them brown. Okay, and now for the second sauce. This is all we're gonna use. We're only gonna do salt, pepper, and mayo and pickle. And then we're going to just mix it with a spoon. So here we go. So we're gonna do mayo, and then I'm gonna do our relish. This is sweet pickle relish. I love this so much. When I make my no-kill tuna for you guys, oh my God, that's the secret ingredient. Anything I put that in, that's the secret ingredient. Now I'm gonna do a splash. You have to just kind of taste. I'm a person that really likes vinegar, so I always want mine to taste vinegary. Okay, now I'm gonna put some salt and a little thing of pepper. And now I'm just gonna stir it around, and that's so easy. Look, this is a great little tartar sauce. Now look at the texture of that. See that chunky sweet pickle relish? That really is the secret ingredient. And there you have it. Let me just taste that one. I need more vinegar in that one. So that's why you have to taste it. For me, that's not enough. So that's just an ingredient that's kind of like salt and pepper. You have to do it to taste. Much better. And if you add more vinegar and it gets a little thin, you can just add a little more mayo, but that's perfect. I love that. Okay, so now we got the sauces made. Let's get on and make those crab cakes. So let's get started with those. It's super easy. We're just gonna use the food processor to blend or blitz up our garbanzo beans and our hearts of palm. Now I do the garbanzo beans first because these separate really easy and you want to keep them chunky because you want them to look crab-like, but you want them piecey. So let's put first our garbanzo beans in. Okay, that looks good. Still chunky. And that's the main thing that you want to see, that you always have some nice chunks. Okay, now we're gonna put our hearts of palm in. It's so cool how these, I had these at Crossroads Kitchen, our famous and delicious plant-based restaurant in Los Angeles, and I was like, I have to make those. Okay, so just do one pulse fast. I think that's gonna be it. And if you have some big pieces in there, I like it like that, but then we can make them go. But if we do any more, it starts getting really fine and you lose the texture. Okay, so just add this to the bowl. You see the nice big flaky pieces, that's what you're looking for. Okay, and then yeah, just get your hands in there. And there's a lot of different kinds, or brands, I should say, of hearts of palms, but make sure you get the whole ones. And I always buy organic. That's important for me. And I don't know, a couple brands I got, they didn't flake apart so good. So now you can see we have this nice texture, flaky texture. And to that, we're just gonna start adding our ingredients. So we have mayo. I have a 1/4 cup here because I never know how much I'm gonna use because it just depends. Sometimes it absorbs more. So let's start with maybe, you know, 1/4 cup is 4 tablespoons. So let's start with 3 tablespoons and see how that goes. And then we add more if we need it. These are onions, but I already diced them and sauteed them. You didn't need to watch me do that. So I did that ahead of time. So these are just some sauteed in veggie broth, of course, no oil. We already have the oil in our mayo, so it's not oil free, but I try to use as little oil as possible always. And now we're gonna add some cornstarch. Kind of helps hold them together. These are the seasonings that I use. I use paprika and a little teeny bit of chili powder, just to give it a little. And then celery salt is here, and onion powder's here. But the reason I do that is because many people use Old Bay seasoning. When you see recipes, people say to use Old Bay, but I like organic, so I just create my own. It's much easier, and I'm gonna use some very minced up parsley, and I'm going to roll these in breadcrumbs, but I'm also gonna put some in because I want them to absorb. So I'm gonna start with this amount and see if we need more. Now we need a little salt and pepper. Sometimes I have to do more mayo than that. And I get in there with my hands. I'm gonna do the rest of this mayo. Yeah, sometimes the hearts are bigger, sometimes it's just everything. That looks good. That's looking good. Now we're talking. Now, if you really wanted these to taste a little bit more seafood-like, because I don't like that flavor, then you can add toasted or nori flakes or nori sheets. I did that originally with my no-kill tuna recipe, and it's really tastes fishy, but I don't like that, so I always leave that out, but I tell people that because if they like that. Okay, so now it's always good to get in there with your hands. Yeah, and I can tell by the texture, you can tell, because you want this to hold together, so we're gonna need more breadcrumbs in here. So first I'm gonna add the ones that I had planned. I always like to do it as I go along. That looks good, but I think we need even more breadcrumbs. And then I'm just gonna add like a tablespoon at a time and just get your hands in there. So that's probably almost another 1/4 cup. That's looking better. Before I form this, I'm gonna let this cool in the fridge because it kind of gels together a little bit better. And then we'll fry them up and we'll do some air frying and we'll see which is better. So now I've taken this delicious filling out of the fridge and it's chilled. And now we're gonna start forming our little crab cake patties. I like to make them about this size. If you make them bigger, then you get more filling and less crust. And I really think it's better to get more crust. So no bigger than this. And then you're gonna take it into your bowl. And in my breadcrumb bowl here, the only other thing I've added in there is if you're using the Old Bay seasoning, just add a teaspoon or 2, depends how many breadcrumbs you put in there. But since I like to use my own organic spices, then I do the same as I do for the recipe, exactly same. And I think it's important when you're making these to squeeze it tighter together than you think, because they will look like they're holding together and then they still easily fall apart. And you see you get these nice chunky pieces. That's so nice, and really that's what you're looking for, because that flakiness and then the crispiness on the outside is really the key. I'm going to do this first batch in the air fryer, but I think I need to spritz them, because when they're breaded like this, you need something on the breading to help them get brown. Traditionally, they're fried in a lot of oil, like almost, I would say, more than halfway up the sides. So when I want to do some in the pan, because I want to taste the difference, it's been a while since I've made these, and I want to taste the difference because now I have my air fryer. I think that's going to be enough for the air fryer. I would like you guys to see this, so I'm going to put this out in the front. And I'm just going to place. So I'm going to do 9 because that's what fits in there. And I'm going to spritz them with a little olive oil. Okay, so that's cooking up, and I'm gonna continue making these, and then we'll fry the next batch up. What are you doing here? I'm cooking and you're supposed to be sleeping. What can I get for you? You're a good boy. Okay, while they're finishing up in the air fryer, let's get the ones in the pan. So let's get I'm really curious to see the difference between the air fryer. I hope they taste delicious there like everything else. I'll let my guest tonight be the real official taste test. Okay, so it's really important to get the oil really hot because you want it to just sizzle and crisp and not soak in. And I put a paper towel on my plate because I always drain out whatever I can. So here we go. I'm gonna do it like this. It's much safer. I like to always use 2 forks because it's a little easier to peek. That's looking good. Perfect. Now I can turn it down just a little. Okay, now I put them on the paper towel. I think that's good. I'm going to turn the pan off now and let them just use the rest of the heat while I take them out. That's looking really good. Now for my favorite part. So I have some sauce from each, and I have the air fried crab cake and the pan fried. So let's start with the pan fried. First I want to bite alone without the sauce. Really nice. It's amazing, that heart's a bomb. The texture that becomes beautiful. Okay, now let me try it with the sauce. Wow. Wow. Look at the texture of that. It's so flaky and it's so delicious. Wow, that is amazing. Okay, now for the air fried version. You can see it holds together fine. It's just not as browned, and that's typical for the air fryer. But first along, man, that's amazing. Okay, with the sauce, with the amazing sauce. Amazing. When you put it in here, it has that feeling of seafood when you dip it in this sauce. Let's try this sauce. This is one I have all the time. This is just my really simple tartar sauce. I love this. Has a little bit of a vinegary taste for me, but this one has a little bit more, almost like a Thousand Island, but it's different. my conclusion, I think for me, I'd make them in the air fryer because I just like to avoid as much oil as possible. You gotta make it with the sauce because you just to have them plain, you know. I can't wait to do it on my big bed of lettuce and with my beautiful dark Cherokee tomatoes. And I think maybe I'll even add, you know, maybe something like, I don't know, maybe even like fresh peach cut up in there, just something really simple. And then my dressing over the lettuce, and then ladies on the top with their little dishes like this. It's gonna be delicious. All right, you guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. I so appreciate each and every one of you that have done that. Thank you so much, and enjoy your vegan crab cakes with remoulade sauce and the tartar, easy tartar sauce. Okay, see you next time.